I want to comment, though, first on the Trump 20, some people say 21-point plan for peace in Gaza. Got a lot of email people asking me, am I optimistic that Hamas will sign on? No, I'm not. It's a terror organization hell-bent on not only making sure that there's no Jewish state called Israel, but that there's no Jews in the world, period. In 2005, when Israel pulled out of Gaza, they kept saying that Israel was occupying Gaza. They wanted to have independence. They wanted to have their own leadership. Okay, so Israel pulls out. 2005, they hold elections, and they elect Hamas. One Hamas female candidate had lost, I believe it was 2 or 3 sons, as I call them homicide bombers as opposed to suicide bombers. And she said, I only wish I had more sons I could have sacrificed for Intifada. She got elected. So this is the group that the citizens, people of Hamas, the Palestinians, elected to govern them. And from that point on, rockets have been raining into Israel. There have been a number of attacks, culminating on October 7, 2023, when 1,200 Israelis and some foreigners were slaughtered in the most ugly, graphic, brutal way that most Americans have not seen. Because most Americans have not seen the footage, have not seen the video. And 250 or so taken hostage, some of whom still remain alive and dead. And while you can't trust the polls, because if you say the wrong thing, you might get killed, but from what I can tell, the majority of Palestinians living in Gaza would still support October 7, despite the alleged genocide. I say alleged genocide because it's ridiculous. Given the strength and power of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, they could have annihilated every man, woman, and child had they really had that as their goal. We've talked about the real Holocaust, where 50% of the European Jewry were slaughtered, about a quarter of all Jews around the world. So far, it is estimated that 3% of the population of Gaza has been killed, and of that 3%, that includes the actual terrorist fighters. So that is a genocide. It pales in comparison to genocides such as the one that took place by the Turks against the Armenians, where it is estimated that something like 50, 60, 70% of the Armenian population was slaughtered. Pol Pot, Khmer Rouge, Cambodia, 50% or so Cambodians slaughtered. This is less than 3%. And again, the reason for this is because Hamas uses schools, mosques, hospitals, where they have their munitions, because they want there to be civilian casualties. So useful idiots will start yelling and screaming about the slaughter of innocent men, women, and children, a slaughter that Hamas is engineering in order to produce that kind of reaction. That rational, normal people believe this, buy into this, blows my mind. There was no genocide on October 6, 2023. Maybe, just maybe, something Hamas did provoke the Israeli response. In any case, this plan has been put together, led by Trump. The European Union is behind it. Egypt is behind it. The United Arab Emirates are behind it. Jordan is behind it. Qatar is behind it. Israel, of course, is behind it. Now, Iran is pretty much irrelevant at this point. Iran's economy is in the toilet. 40% annual inflation. Recall how we felt when we had 9%? This is 40% annual inflation. And after the successful attack on 3 nuclear sites, they've been defanged. So they no longer have the kind of money that they had in order to fund Hamas so that they could pull off what they did on October the 7th. My point is, Hamas is becoming increasingly isolated. Qatar, where a number of Hamas leaders live, is behind this plan. Turkey, where it is said that other Hamas leaders live, is behind this plan. Their benefactor, Iran, as I mentioned, can no longer fund them to the extent that they could before. Egypt, by the way, which has closed its border, so citizens, people living in Gaza, I keep saying citizens, people living in Gaza could not escape to Egypt. Egypt didn't want them. They're behind this plan. So all that is necessary is for Hamas to say, okay, I think Trump gave them 2 or 3 days to say it. And they've not responded. And I don't think they will. But as Trump said, if they don't, Israel will then have full support of the United States to, quote, complete the job, close quote, and destroy Hamas to the extent that they can. I say to the extent that they can because you kill terrorists, you still can't kill the ideology behind the terrorists. There'll be more. But maybe, just maybe, public opinion will start changing a little bit. The Hamas fighters have been granted amnesty if they agree to put down their weapons. Israel has agreed to return a boatload of Palestinian terrorists that they've captured. Always these trades are way lopsided. Israel gives up way more than they get back. The UK, whose prime minister has just recognized the state of Palestine, is behind the plan. The former prime minister of the UK, Tony Blair, is behind this plan. So, where is Hamas going to turn for support at this point? This whole thing that they did on October the 7th has backfired big time. Tens of thousands of people have lost their lives. Much of Gaza has been completely destroyed. Iran, a benefactor, after the successful attack on 3 nuclear sites, has been more and more exposed as, if not a paper tiger, certainly a lot less ferocious than people thought. So this was a brilliant maneuver by President Trump. How many presidents have come into office thinking that they're going to be able to solve the Middle East crisis? Jimmy Carter certainly thought he did. Bill Clinton thought he could. And Trump is saying, I don't know. All I know is that you take this deal or else. It's either peace or total destruction. You choose. And we're not going to withhold support for Israel to do what Israel needs to do. And Trump has said repeatedly, I'm not going to forget what happened on October 7th. It amazes me that so many people already have. What happened on that day was almost inconceivable in its horror, in its viciousness. Iran, the chief sponsor of terror, is now on its behind. It won't be able to fund, strategize, provoke to the extent that they did before. Why? Because President Trump, unlike Barack Obama, is not naive about our Islamo-fascist enemy.